Okay. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Carrie Ann, also known as Poker Gal. So basically what my YouTube channel is going to be about is I want it to be everything poker, from the mental aspects of poker. I want to do some vlogs. I would like to do some strategy content. So basically I was at a point in my career. I've been playing 14, professionally 10. And I've kind of been stagnant in a sense of just kind of like comfortable at just playing small and not really going big with it. And I'm at a point where I'm just ready to go all in. I've had very good success with smaller stakes. I've done very well and I've enjoyed it. But I think that my knowledge of the game has outgrown it and I'm ready to, get to a higher level. So I want you guys to be along with the ride with me. Don't get me wrong, I have played higher stakes obviously, but I even final tabled the bracelet event, but I wasn't lucky enough to get the bracelet, not yet, but we will one day. So I kind of want this YouTube channel to be my journey, and I want to take you guys with me through it all, and I hope that we can learn from each other. I hope that we could share knowledge and experience, and I hope I can meet some great people out of it. I'm also a streamer on Twitch. I do stream poker content. For those of you that are from Twitch, thank you for being here. I feel like I could talk about a lot more stuff here than I'm able to on Twitch in the middle of a session, so that will be cool. I'm a little bit nervous. This is not something that I'm used to. I usually keep my life very private. I keep to myself. Even on Twitch, I've only ever really talked about the game, and so to open my life up to you guys is going to be interesting, to say the least. So anyways, what brings us here today is probably one of the most important things over, the last 14 years of living in Las Vegas, Nevada, and being around some of the best players in the world, and getting, being fortunate enough to discuss hand histories with them and discuss lifestyle and discuss these types of things. I want to talk about the number one negative EV thing in poker and how to fix it. I even have a notepad because, guys, this is going to be a lot. And raise your hand if you know, because I've done it many of times, but it is punting. So the reality is I coached a lot of people, and some of them would even come to me and they would be like, I'm in this great mindset. I went into this session feeling amazing. I came out and I punted and I had no intentions. And guys, this is not something that only small stakes players deal with or amateur players deal with. This is something that some of the people at the highest level of the poker world are dealing with still, and they still have their moments. So this is a very important thing to talk about, if not one of the most important things. Don't get me wrong, I talk a lot about discipline, and discipline being extremely important in poker, and I do stand by that. But, and this is a big but, there is chemical things going on inside your body that make you more prone to punting. So those are the things that I want to talk about. And I want you guys to understand why you punt, the science behind punting, and how to fix it. I'm going to give you guys some techniques that you can do. I'm going to give you guys some vitamins that you can take. I'm not a doctor, talk to your doctor, but I'm going to recommend you to some things that have helped me and a few other poker players that I know substantially. So let me bring this over here because I have a notebook because I don't want to forget anything, because I'm new to this whole YouTube thing. So cortisol. Guys, cortisol is the stress hormone, and poker is an extremely, extremely stressful thing to do. Rather you're a recreational player, rather you're a pro, it is extremely stressful playing for high amounts of money. It's a very scary situation. It's uncertainty, it's uncomfortable, you feel out of control a lot. And we will go back to that word a lot because I do believe that's one of the most important words in poker is control. So if you do some research on cortisol, cortisol levels can actually affect things like your memory, your concentration, it can induce the fight or flight response. So when you release glucose, it triggers, or I'm sorry, when you release cortisol, it triggers glucose response, which triggers the fight or flight response. If I'm making sense, I hope I'm making sense. And so fight or flight is where the whole just running comes from. When you're like, just get me off the table, get me out of this game. It's because you're so stressed out. It's painfully, emotionally to your body and your mind, and you're going, get me away from it, get me away from it. So for those of you who know me, you guys know that I studied Krav Maga, joint manipulation, for years. And one of the techniques that they actually teach in that is they teach how your body moves away from pain, right? And this is a physical and mental thing. So for instance, with joint manipulation, you actually use pain to control where you want somebody's body to go, right? So if you inflict pain in this way, it's going to move their body a certain way. It's the same with emotional pain. So if you're in a tournament and you get upset and you lose a big hand, now you're in emotional pain. And your body's response and your mind's response to that is to go into fight or flight. So a lot of the times it goes into punt mode, right? Get me out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like this feeling. Get me away from this feeling. Can you relax? Good dog. Get me away from this feeling. So this is why healthy glucose levels, healthy cortisol levels is so important at a poker table. It really does control so much more than you even think that it probably does. So I want to talk about this, and I want to kind of give you guys some tips on how to have one, healthy glucose levels, 2, lower your stress levels at the table, and 3, some things that you could take. So first and foremost, guys, and I know you don't want to hear this because I don't want to hear this, the gym. If you do your research of the effects that the gym has on glucose level, or I'm sorry, on cortisol levels and your stress hormones, it's insane. You know, you see this trend kind of flowing through poker where it's like all these high stakes players, they're working out now, they're eating healthy, they're meditating and doing all these things. Well, this is the science behind it, right? It's, you want to get those cortisol levels low. So working out is a huge one. Another one would be meditation. Meditation is not only going to lower your cortisol levels, but it's also going to slow down your thinking. So if we think about what makes an amateur player compared to a pro player, like what's the number one difference? And I've spoken with many, experienced and successful players, and I've spoken with many amateur players, and the biggest difference, guys, is that a pro can slow down and they know why they're doing what they're doing. They think through every decision. Their decision making and their focus is spot on. This is not something you see with amateurs. A lot of amateurs are doing things and they don't know why they're doing it. So I'm going to give you guys some homework to help you immensely with this. So obviously the gym and meditation is going to help you a lot. We know that. But there are actually a few other techniques that you could do. One, I want you guys to start timing yourself. So whenever you're on a street, right, whether it be pre-flop, post-flop, turn, or river, I want you guys to give yourself a certain amount of time, whether it be 10 seconds, right, to make a decision. And even if you already know your decision, still take that time, because you might actually think that you have the decision figured out, and in reality, it's the wrong decision. And once you step back and look at all the information and gather all the information, then you realize, oh my gosh, it's not the best decision. Examples of this would be, the guy under the gun opens and you have a decent hand for your starting stack and you decide to just open jam. Well, if you would have took a second, you would have realized the guy under the gun has a 5% VPIP. That's a little extreme, but you guys get what I'm saying. And you're on the stone cold bubble and you don't have much fold equity, whatever the case is. But if you sit here and you look at and you really slowed down and took all this information in, you might change your decision. And that's what I want to get through to you guys. So I just want you to slow down with your decision making, and I want you to understand why you're doing everything. So take 10 seconds to slow down before you act and really slow down your thinking. And instead of going into fight or flight of just, okay, I'm all in, or I am going to do these knee-jerk decisions, I want you to slow down. Another one would be, if you're an online player, and I've talked about this on Twitter, talking through your hands out loud. I know it sounds crazy. I actually had a guy that was like, what do you mean, Poker Gal? Why would you talk through your hands out loud? Well, there's lots of reasons. Guys, you will be amazed at how often you think you're thinking about poker, and you're not. You'll be in a hand, and before you know it, you just snap jam all in, and you have no idea why, and you're like, oh my god, I was 40 big blinds deep, I really didn't need to jam there. And I'm 5 from the money, and I didn't realize it. So these are things you want to completely get rid of, and it's not that hard, guys. It's actually a very easy thing to do if you're in the right mindset and you're in control of your decisions at a poker table. So when you're playing at home online, I want you to talk through everything that you do. I want you to say, this guy opens from under the gun. Oh, his VPIP is very low. Then I got this guy behind me, and wait, how many people are left? And what are the stack depths? And what are my chances of squeezing here? What can I do? How much equity do I think my hand has on his hand, on his perceived range, right? Like these things I want you to slow down and I want you to think about. And there's actually another really cool technique that a mental coach gave me where you actually write out what you're gonna talk to yourself about. So for instance, come up with a certain questions that you ask yourself pre-flop and memorize those. Every hand. Rather it be, okay, who's opening? What's their player image? Whatever you want them to be. And we could go through this later on if you guys want me to go more into depth into this. And then post flop, how aggression, if I call this guy on the flop, is he likely to barrel? If I want you to have these certain questions that you ask yourself, whatever they might be. And this is going to kind of slow you down a little bit too. And is first and foremost, guys, it's going to make you feel like you're in control. And when you feel like you're in control, you feel less stressed. So believe it or not, us humans don't like uncertainty. We don't like feeling at any time we could bust a tourney. Well, no, you're in control of that. So once you realize you're in control of that, a sense of calmness is going to come with it. And that's where you want to get. So I definitely want you guys to do some of those exercises. I think that it will really help you. If you guys want some more details on that, let me know. I could do a video on what questions I ask myself. And also some of the things that have extremely helped me extremely helped me with changing how I think about hands, right? Because even I think there's also a scenario where people are thinking about hands, but they're not thinking the right things. And that sounds terrible, but it is a thing. So yeah, if you guys want me to do a video on that, let me know, and I would love to do a video on that. Okay, so let's go now into some vitamins that actually help cortisol levels and help focus and help mental clarity, and it improves mental performance. The first one would be ashwagandha. Ashwagandha has amazing results in studies of lowering cortisol levels, of the stress levels. And it's amazing. It's amazing. If you feel like you're one of those people that is a very high stressful person where you're getting stressed out in a hand that's literally irrelevant, and I've met people like this, and it will be like, there's only $5 in the pot, why are you shaking? But it's some people just have, they have more adrenaline, or they're more hyperactive, or they have responses to different things. Ashwagandha is going to do wonders for you. It's amazing. Another one is L-theanine. And L-theanine is another one that also lowers cortisol levels and is really, really good for stress. So go ahead and check that out. I'm going to try to get through these quick. Another one for me that which I was never recommended this one. The other ones I kind of was recommended. I was never recommended this one, but for some reason I found really good results with it, is L-tryptophan. It kind of gave me a soothing, calming feeling, which for me at the poker table is great because I'm a very hyperactive person and sometimes I just need to be calmed down a little bit. So L-tryptophan for me worked wonders. And then another one, which is probably my favorite, is L-tyrosine. And L-tyrosine improves mental clarity, mental performance. They've done many studies on it. People score higher on tests when taking this. It helps with stress. It helps with clarity. It's just an amazing, amazing vitamin all around. So, yeah, those are my tips, guys. I do have lots more, but we'll start there. I know that's a lot to throw on you guys, and I don't want to go overboard in my first video. But if you guys have any questions, if there's anything that maybe you misunderstood or, you know, I didn't elaborate on enough, please leave me a comment. Message me on Twitter. I have my messages open on Twitter, and I'll be more than happy to respond. Like I said, my goal here is for us to improve together. So yeah, if you guys do not follow me on Twitter or Twitch or Instagram, go ahead and give me a follow. You can stay up to date with, you know, all of my mental tips, my poker hacks, my life, my results, whatever you guys want, it's all there. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I promise it will get better. I'm still learning. I'm very new to this whole YouTube thing, but I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think there's a lot of stuff we can get from each other doing this. So I love you guys all, and I will see you guys on the next video.